Ukraine. It is weird that so much is going on right now with Ukraine. I mean, it's man, I almost think back to this from 2018.
Press conference said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a got fired.
Let's keep in mind the Biden family has their fingerprints all over this region, and I am curious about connections. And if you want to know about the Biden family and corruption, there's only one place to go. Her name's Miranda Devine, author of a book you really should read, Laptop from Hell, Hunter Biden, Big Tech, and Dirty Secrets that the president tried to hide. She's also, of course, with the New York Post. Miranda, all right, I don't want to be watch too much TV guy, but I see a lot of things going on in Ukraine. They don't make sense to a lot of Americans. The Biden family has their fingerprints all over Ukraine, Hunter and otherwise. What should I be seeing here?
Well, Jesse, it's interesting that you played that quite famous clip now of Joe Biden boasting about forcing the Ukrainian government to fire their chief prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. Now, I've often wondered why he did something so stupid as to draw attention to really what was a very corrupt act, using or threatening to withhold $1 billion of US aid when he was vice president, unless Viktor Shokin was fired. Now, this was the prosecutor that was investigating Burisma, the company that was paying his son Hunter Biden $83,000 a month. And Viktor Shokin has since said in interviews with Ukrainian media that he was just about to start subpoenaing and interrogating Hunter Biden and his friend Devon Archer. So the quid pro quo there was palpable. So why did Joe Biden go and so publicly boast about it? Well, I think it was because he knew that there were going to be investigations into that act and that the heat was on him. So he fessed up like this in this boastful way to sort of give him cover. And it worked a treat because, the media, the Democrat-friendly media anyway, the New York Times, Washington Post and so on, bought his story that Viktor Shokin, the prosecutor, was corrupt and that's why he had to be, done away with. But in fact, Viktor Shokin, just a couple of weeks before Joe Biden insisted that he be fired, had seized the property of Mykolai Zlochevsky, who was the owner of Burisma, basically Hunter Biden's boss. They'd seized his properties that were in Kiev, mansions and plots of land, and even his Rolls-Royce car. So there was an active investigation going on into Burisma corruption. And there are also lots of emails going on between Burisma and Hunter Biden, asking him for various favors. They wanted Joe Biden and the other people that he had influence over in the administration, in the Obama administration, to do various favors for Burisma, for Zlochevsky, its owner, to get the heat of international law enforcement off him.
Did Joe Biden do any of these favors? Do we know? Do we suspect?
Well, he got the prosecutor fired. I mean, there's no bigger favor than that. After Shokin was fired, Patsy was put into that role, and the Burisma investigation basically wound up going nowhere. And Zlochevsky paid a couple of $1 million in fines and was allowed back into the country. And there are emails from State Department, sort of middle-ranking State Department employees throughout Joe Biden's vice presidency, drawing attention to this real conflict of interest between Hunter Biden and his enrichment and Joe Biden and the Obama administration's message that they were constantly sending to Ukraine that they had to clean up corruption there. It's a very corrupt country. But that was at odds with Joe Biden's own family's corruption, their enrichment through this very corrupt energy company and its owner, who had been the energy minister in the previous administration, the Russia-aligned administration. And I mean, Zlochevsky is aligned with Russia. Burisma is a Russia-aligned company. So, this idea that Hunter Biden has put out in sort of mitigation of his taking the money, that he was somehow helping Ukraine become energy independent, is not true. The opposite is the case. Burisma was aligned with Russia, just as its owner, Zlochevsky, had been an energy minister in the previous Moscow-aligned company. And in fact, regime. And in fact, everybody that Hunter Biden was involved with in Ukraine is aligned with Moscow.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.